crisscross applesauce. Eyes on my friend Peter. I see Kyle crisscross applesauce. Eyes on my friend Peter.
I touched that.
I see Owen. Eyes on my Peter. We're reading our story today. Our story is called Goggles. Yes. We're going to find out who this friend is. When we read our story, we have our bottoms flat on the ground so our friends can see. Is this flat on the ground like this? If I sit like this? Can I do it flat? No, my friends can't see. So we sit crisscross so all of our friends can see. Right now, your mouth should be quiet. Volume turned off so I can talk and tell you about the story. When I ask you to share, turn your volume up. When I ask you to share, that's when you can turn the volume up. And right now, I want you to think like a story detective. This is a story about our friend Peter. Peter is going to play a trick. I want you to think about the trick that he plays in the story, just like the trick that he played on his mom when he was hiding behind the curtain. Kyle is sitting looking at me. Owen is looking at me. So let's think about the trick that Peter plays in our book called Goggles. Ivan is sitting with his eyes on the book. Jenny has her eyes on the book. This book is by Ezra Jack Keats. He writes and draws, so he's the author and the illustrator. He drew all these pictures. Archie, look what I found, Peter shouted through the pipe. Motorcycle goggles. Everybody put your goggles on. Goggles are very big glasses that protect our eyes. Archie watched and listened. Look how big this pipe is. It goes all the way across this parking lot. And he can hear, Archie can hear all the way. Put your question in your pocket so I can listen to it later. Peter ran to the hideout. The hideout is some secret place that only Archie, Willie, and Peter know about. And he put on his goggles. Aren't they great, Peter said. Archie smiled and nodded. I think Willie is smiling too. He likes the goggles. Hold your question. Hold your question. Peter said, let's go over to your house and sit on the steps. Archie nodded. It looks like they're having a really good time. And they want to go to Archie's house and play with their goggles.
I thought that was sand.
You thought this was sand? It might be sand. It looks a bit like sand. Paul, what's your question?
Why is this thing?
This thing right here? This is the door. Oh, this is sand. Yeah, it does look like sand.
That's sand.
That's sand?
Mm-hmm.
Let's find out if they go. Christopher, what's your question?
What is this?
This orange thing is very important. That's the pipe. It's a big, long pipe that they talk through. Winnie, what's your question? One more question. This is a big door that protects their hideout. Sit flat on your bottom. We're going to go to the next page and find out what happens next. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. They started to walk. Suddenly, some big boys appeared. Hey, kid, give us those goggles, the big boy said. No, they're mine, said Peter. His dog Willie growled. Everyone growl. Arr. Can I hear you growl? Arr. Dogs growl. In your pocket. Put it in your pocket. Dogs growl when they want to protect somebody. Archie, Willie said. Archie, hold Willie, Peter said. Let's hold Willie. Let's make sure Willie's safe because Willie's growling and he might hurt the big boys. He might bite them.
I got a question.
What's your question, Christopher? These are the big boys. From now on, let's put our questions in our back pocket and we'll think about them later. We'll think about them later. I see Sean looking at the pictures. I see Edmund looking at the pictures. Peter stuffed the goggles in his back pocket and he put up his fists. Archie gasped. Everyone gasped. Gasp is when you take in a lot of air because you're surprised or you didn't expect something. Peter turned to see if something was wrong. The next thing that happened, the next thing he knew, he was knocked on the ground. Everyone stared at the goggles. I think that he was pushed by one of the big boys and his goggles fell out of his pocket. And now everybody is looking at them. I see Paul looking at the pictures. I see Jenny looking at the pictures. Before anyone could move, Willie snatched the goggles. He took the goggles and he ran through a hole in the fence. It's a really small hole. The big boys chased after him. "Meet you in the hideout," whispered Peter. "You go this way and I'll go that way. And they won't know which way we're going. Willie will find us after." This is the first trick. I know it's a trick because they're whispering it so the big boys can't hear. Everybody whisper really quiet. Whisper again. So they don't know. Now this is a new trick. Put it in your pocket. Put it in your pocket. The next trick. So they're going to go to the hideout. Remember our hideout with the sand? Peter raced to the hideout. He sank down as low as he could. Footsteps. The big boys. They followed me. Peter held his breath. Now he's sinking down low, and he's not breathing. He doesn't want anybody to see him. He wants to be invisible. Archie! So Archie followed the plan. Archie made it all the way back to the hideout. But where is Willie? Remember, Willie has the goggles. Did the big boys find him? He's whispering. What was that? Archie looked through the hole. He looked through the hole in the door. Christopher is looking at the pictures. Sean is looking at the pictures. Now we're all looking through the hole. And I see Archie's hands. And I also see the big boys. And there was Willie. They would see him. I see Willie all the way over here. Archie stared at the pipe. This is our big orange pipe, remember, that goes all the way across the sand. It starts right here and it goes all the way across. He stared at the pipe and then he spoke. "Here, Willie, through the pipe, fast." I know what he did. He remembered that you can hear all the way at the end of the pipe. And he spoke through it and he knew that Willie would hear. Willie! So he heard him. Willie heard and he ran through the pipe, he scampered through, and he brought the goggles. So now Willie, Archie, and Peter are safe with the goggles in the hideout. I see Edmund looking at the pictures. I see Christopher looking at the pictures. We're looking back through the hole. Peter peeked through the hole. He looked through. The big boys were coming closer and closer. I don't know, these are all the big boys. Let's put our questions in our back pocket. Peter took a deep breath. I see Ivan looking at the pictures. I see Christopher looking at the pictures. Peter took a deep breath, and then he yelled through the pipe, "Willie, meet us at the parking lot." Everybody make your pipe really big. And they yell through it. "Willie, meet us at the parking lot." "Head for the parking lot," said one of the big boys. "Let's go." And they all ran off. Put your question in your back pocket. I know. This is our second trick. This is the second trick that he pulled. He didn't want Willie to go to the parking lot. Willie is already safe with Archie and Peter. He needed them to go to the parking lot and go away, so he pulled a trick. Peter and Archie crept out of the hideout. Jenny is looking at the pictures. Adrian is looking at the pictures. They crept out very slowly. Everybody creep. Get very low. They crept out of the hideout, and when they made it to the fence, they ran. They ran all the way home. Put it in your pocket, Christopher. They got to Archie's house. Archie laughed and said, "We fooled him, didn't we?" Fooled is another word for tricked. He tricked him again. "You sure did," said Peter, handing him the goggles. "Things look real fine now." "They sure do," Archie said. And now they're all safe together. These are just some friends in the neighborhood. They're all safe on the step. But let's look back at this picture. Hold on. Thinking caps. Put them on, make them tight. Not too tight, just tight enough. Why? Why did they creep out of the hiding place? Why did they do that? Why did they think it was okay to leave the hiding place and go to Archie's house? Winnie, why did they think that? Let's listen to Winnie's answer. The goggles. So they could go to Archie's house, right? But why did they leave? Who were they waiting for? Matthew, who are they waiting for?
They're waiting for those bad guys to leave until they go to Archie's house.
Yeah, so they needed the bad guys to go, and then they could go to Archie's house, remember?
Why? What is these elevators?
Now they're going to the parking lot. Take a seat. They're going to the parking lot so Archie and his friends can go be safe, right?
Boys?
Yeah, they were the bad guys. They wanted to take the goggles. They go that way. Christopher, take a seat on the ground. All right, thinking question. We're thinking question, make it even tighter. I see Matthew looking at the pictures. I see Lucas looking at the pictures. All right. I have one last question. Why did the big boys go to the parking lot? Why did that even happen?
The police station.
The police were there? I don't remember the police were there. I think Willie did something. Not Willie. Willie was part of it, but I think Peter did something. The police were there? Isaiah, do you know why the big boys went to the parking lot?
Question. Why did the big boys want the goggles?
I think they thought they were cool. I thought they were cool too. I would have wanted them. So why did the big boys go to the parking lot? Jasmine, do you know?
He said a trap.
Matthew, why did they go?
Because he said a trap. It was the goggles in the parking lot.
Yeah, that's what they thought. They knew Willie had the goggles, and they said, Willie, go to the parking lot. And that's what the big boys heard. So they said, we're going to go to the parking lot to get the goggles. That was really good. Isaiah, do you have one last thing to tell us?
I think they set out a trap for the goggles.
Oh, they set a trap, and they were playing a trick, too. Peter was pretty smart, and Archie was pretty smart, too, to play the trick. Christopher, take a seat. Why did they do what with the goggles? They stepped on it? I don't know if they stepped on it. They looked like they were okay. All right, guys, that was a really, really good story time. I think we should do the Krabby Patty chair. Here we go. Put your patties on the grill. Are they done?
No.
One more time. Are they done?
Yeah.
No, not yet. One more time.
Done.
Well done.
Well done.
Good job, guys. All right, let's stand up.